Hello, and welcome back to the KTEH Who Are You Marathon. You know, it's rather fitting that I'm standing here in the TARDIS because, well, it connects to a fantastic discovery I made right here in California. The Doctor often gets the TARDIS lost in his travels in time and space, but I at least managed to locate the TARDIS console. The very console, in fact, that Paul McGann, the 8th Doctor himself, used. Let's go check it out right now. Greetings, Doctor Who fans. I'm standing here in front of what I'm sure you all must recognize, and that is the TARDIS console. But if you take a really good look, you'll see that it's not just a really good fan-made replica. This is the screen-used console from the 1996 TV movie that we aired on Fox. It was to reflect a Jules Verne Victorian era theme that, well, would reflect that particular Doctor played by Paul McGann. I guess the first question is, how did you get your hands on this wonderful piece?
It's actually a really great story because I've been a Doctor Who fan since I was really young, and I was producing a film, and my makeup artist was from England, and we used to talk about Doctor Who. And one day she told me, she goes, "Oh, hey, you know, one of my friends, boyfriend has the TARDIS and wants to get rid of it." And I was like, "What? Like, what are you talking about?" Right. And she told me that he had built, he had the prop company that housed the TARDIS up in Vancouver and just wanted to get rid of it. It was taking up space.
So I understand that when you got the console, it was just the base. It was missing the time rotor. Well, as we can see, there's one here now. And you told me that you rebuilt this. So could you tell us about that? How did you go about rebuilding the central column?
Yeah, obviously it had to have the time rotor to be complete. And having done special effects for a number of years, I said, well, hey, this is something I can certainly, build myself. Mm-hmm. I had this great book that was just on the Doctor Who movie that had really great photographs and detailed photographs of the time rotor. So, basically, the biggest problem was, of course, this plexiglass piece itself, which, certainly wasn't cheap. But, found some plastic manufacturing places and really, as detailed as possible, as close to the original design. I just reconstructed it using parts I could find.
Is there any particular detail on this console that we would have missed when watching the TV movie in 1996?
This portion of the console, it has a number of different, errors that you can go to. The, Humanian error, the Sensorian error, the, Crowleyan error. Also the ability to, set the time and place you want to go.
I know you also told me that this console weighs a ton.
Yeah.
What exactly are, for the viewers at home, the dimensions, roughly speaking, of this TARDIS console?
Well, I know that just because I'm trying to convince my wife to let me have this in the house and trying to find a place where it could go. But it's actually 6 feet by 6 feet.
Well, it's got to be, a healthy 4 foot with the base and maybe, 8 foot with the rotor?
Oh, yes, yeah. It's pretty tall. Pretty tall.
Wow, this is just fascinating. It must be just a thrill to own this and know that, you own the actual TARDIS console.
Absolutely, it's not lost on me. I mean, I realize, how big a deal it is to own a prop like this, and I love it. I take care of it, and as you can see, it's in really great condition. All the lights work, and I've really maintained it. And I always let Doctor Who fans come and see it if they want, if they want to see it.
Well, thank you so much for having us, Paul.
Absolutely,
it's been a pleasure. I think we'll go back to the studio and learn some more.
Well, while Bob learns how to better work those controls and dimensional stabilizers, let's take a look at what other trouble the TARDIS gets into this next thrilling episode.
Hey KTEH viewers, welcome back to the Who Are You television marathon. I'm here with some of the best villains of Doctor Who because, hey, the villains and monsters in Doctor Who are some of the best things about it. I have a master from the Deadly Assassin behind me, and I have a couple of the Vashta Nerada. These two spacesuit creatures are actually going to be from the David Tennant series, Silence in the Library. And actually in real life, there are a couple of friends of mine who've put together a great set of cosplay here. Guys, would you mind taking off your helmets so I can tell you hello?
Hello there.
Hey. Glad you could be here.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Do you mind introducing yourselves for the audience?
I'm Mette Hedin. Oh, and I'm Bryan Little.
So are you guys locally here from San Jose?
Yeah, we're from Sunnyvale.
Oh, that's great. That's great. This is really an excellent work here. The spacesuit, the skulls. How did you get into this? How did you decide on the Vashta Nerada?
Well, I always found villains to kind of be more interesting than the heroes. And there's plenty of doctors out there.
Of
No
course.
offense,
Right. Yeah.
but there's not a great variety in villains generally.
Very true. Very true. How much lead time did you guys have to make these suits from when the episode aired?
We made it in about a month, but
About
that
a
was
month.
because we were going to a convention.
Oh, of course, Gallifrey 1?
Yes.
Oh, that's great, yeah. So do you enter in competitions like the Masquerade at Gallifrey 1 a lot?
Yeah, we've done the only 2 years we've gone to Gallifrey, we've been in the Masquerade.
Oh, that's right. Okay, that's great. So is this all custom made? Is any of this kind of repurposed or what?
Well, the shoes which you can't see are moon boots, which is what they did on the show, but
Sure.
we decided to go the route of making more than they actually did in the real show.
Uh-huh.
Because otherwise, kind of what's the point as a costumer?
Well,
I
sure.
think.
Well, I mean, these pieces alone must have been very difficult. How did you make the helmets and the neck pieces?
Well, we actually started using this new stuff called Wonderflex. It's been around for a little while. It can be shaped using hot water or heat.
Sure.
You can heat up. It's kind of like a duct tape, but it's plastic, and it can be molded over things. And so we would sculpt the shapes out of foam first, and then heat these pieces of plastic over the foam.
Right.
And then we would actually come up with the shape. And then we would just do one side, do the other, and then fuse them together. And then we covered it in what they use for fixing cars, which is called Bondo. It's like a hard, sandable fixer, I guess.
Sure. And did you use a motorcycle helmet or something for the base shape?
No, it's made entirely from scratch.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
it's all done with measurements taken from our heads and the actual shape of the helmet from the show.
That's
Wow.
the kind of enjoyment we get out of costuming, is going nuts and just making everything from scratch.
That's really great. You know, I think it's this great spirit of fan involvement and creativity that is what brings us all together through PBS and stations just like KTEH. Actually, we're going to have to sign off now for our little marathon, but I'd like to thank you two. Thanks for showing up.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank my co-hosts, Aubrey and Vaughn.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us
Yeah,
here.
thanks for having us.
And remember, if you want to find out more about Doctor Who, please check out the KTEH website at www.kteh.org/Doctor Who. We're signing off for good now, but remember, keep tuning in for more Doctor Who right here on this very station. Take care. Have a good night.